Having a mentor or a series of mentors is one of the smartest things you can do to advance your career at any age. Even if you're 55 years old like I am, having mentors can help you grow and expand. A lot of people who are in their 20s think that we're going to have it all figured out by the time we're in our mid-50s, that we're going to be financially secure, that we're going to have all the answers. But the truth is, life is always a journey. It's interesting when I talk to these 20-somethings and they tell me, oh, I'm going to hustle till I'm in my 30s, then I'm going to settle down and have financial freedom. I've seen a lot of people try. Some people succeeded. But for most of us, you know what? Life is just a series of events. You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. And if you have mentors that you can turn to along the way, it's going to be a lot easier for you to navigate those hard things that pop up. And I'll tell you what, hard things pop up for everyone. Don't fool yourself. Now, mentors come in all shapes and sizes. So when you're in your 20s, you think about the mentor being that man or that woman who has cleared all the hurdles and is on the other side. And that's the traditional way that we think of mentorship. Now, when I was in my 20s, I had several people who served as mentors to me. And what they did is they gave me advice, they made introductions, and they helped me realize that the choices I make along the way, those choices actually have consequences. All choices that we make have consequences. So having those mentors when I was young was great. As I got older, I tended not to have as many mentors. And I also kind of just got caught in that rut of going through the motions. So I ended up putting together, or being part of a group that was put together, of peer mentors, a mastermind group. As many of you know, if you've ever met me or you've watched any of these videos, I make my living mostly for the last 12 years as a professional speaker at association conferences and company events. So I had a mastermind group with 4 other professional speakers. Now, one of them dropped out and left the business, but the other 3 and myself, we have stayed together as like a personal board of directors for each of us for now we're going into our 10th year. And having a peer group of mentors is an awesome way to continue to move forward. Now, as I get older, one of the other things I found is that you can have mentors that are younger than you, and when you're kind of in your 50s or maybe your mid-40s or your 60s, somewhere in this middle age, whatever we want to classify that, you really should go out of your way to mentor some other people. So I've been asked to mentor a lot of people in the speaking business and outside the speaking business. And it's been really interesting because I wish I knew when I was younger how important it is for the mentee to drive the mentorship relationship. Because here's the thing, when I first meet somebody and they say, hey, would you mentor me? Could I call you and get some advice? My natural answer is sure, I love to help people. And while I do some coaching, not everything in life has to be for money. I find it so interesting how people are like, well, I charge for that. Or I hate it when people call me and want to pick my brain. I picked so many people's brain when I was trying to learn how to get forward in my career. You gotta pay it back. Almost everyone who's successful has had people throughout their life who have sent that elevator back down to pick them up so that they can be brought up that proverbial building to the top floor as well. So here's the thing. By mentoring other people, and I've got a couple of people who I've now been their mentor for a long time. It's become more than just business advice. We've become friends. They actually call me their fake dad, but I give them advice and they call me. But it's hard for me in the beginning to call them up and go, hey, haven't talked to you in a while. I'd like to mentor you today. That would be weird and maybe a little creepy. So the mentee has to drive the relationship. They have to be the one who call and ask for advice. And eventually that friendship is built. Now, not everyone who mentors you or who you mentor, not everyone is going to have that situation where you become such good friends that it feels like family. But it can happen. But here's the thing, is that when you're on the older side of that life journey, one of the things that's so important is when you give back and help them, along the way, you get inspired, energized, and you learn new things. I have one person who I'm mentoring about the speaking business, but he's also trying to build a YouTube channel. Now, I'm not trying to become some YouTuber. Nobody wants to watch a 55-year-old YouTuber, right? I mean, maybe, but probably not. So here's the thing. I'm not trying to build some big YouTube channel, but because he is trying to become an influencer and build his way in that world, it's caused me to do some research because you can't mentor somebody if you have no idea what they're talking about. Now, on the speaking side of the business, I have a lot of great advice for them. But on the YouTube side, I have no idea. I don't know if you've watched this video or if you've even made it to this point. In fact, if you've made it to this 5-minute point of this video, leave a comment down below and tell me, Thom, I'm one of those few people who watched the whole thing, because I'd just like to know that. Also, you can, please, subscribe to the channel. Just push the button, it would be nice. But as I said, my goal isn't to grow some huge following on YouTube. But what I'm finding through my research is that you can use YouTube in so many different ways that I'm learning because I'm mentoring someone else. So whether you're younger or you're in the middle of your career or you're on the older side, mentorship is so important, and it opens up amazing doors for people on both sides of the equation. So if you don't have a mentor and you picked this video because you're thinking, I would like to advance my personal growth, I would like to grow in my career, and finding a mentor is really important, then do the things necessary to find a mentor. And the first thing to do is tell people you're looking for a mentor. Ask people in your network, talk to people in your industry, talk to people inside your company. Not everyone is willing to invest the time to help someone else grow their life and career, but some people are. So put it out there and see what comes your way. And then remember what I said. You have to drive that relationship early on. Set some parameters of how often you're going to call, and then call and follow up and let them know how you're doing. The one thing that drives me crazy if I'm mentoring somebody is when they tell me, today I'm going to do X. And the next day I check in and say, hey, did you do it? And they go, oh no, I was busy, and there's a million excuses. If you're going to go and ask somebody for advice and then you agree to follow their advice, and trust me, not every piece of advice you get from a mentor is good advice. But if you think it's good advice and you're going to take action, 2 things. Number 1, take the action. And number 2, let them know you took the action and show them the results that you got from trying it. So that's really, really important. And the final thing I'll leave you with in this whole thing about mentorship is, if you live in a bubble, if you only talk to people who are just like you, who haven't yet achieved the things you want to achieve, then how are you going to get any good advice? I find it fascinating how many people will pay a coach or talk to friends or take a course from someone who has never lived the life they're teaching. There's so many courses out there and so many gurus and life coaches and people selling things who have never lived the life. They've never done the work, and yet they're taking money from people in order to support themselves, but they really don't have any idea what they're talking about. So when you find a mentor, make sure it's someone who has lived the life you want. They don't have to be the most famous person. They don't have to be super successful, but they have to have been down the track and they have to have the experience. So if you're thinking about finding a mentor, get out there and find a mentor, but choose wisely. And then if it's time for you to start mentoring people, start your networking. Cross-generational networking is a fantastic way to meet some people who might be up and coming, who could use your advice. And just let it be known that you're always willing to answer questions. You're always willing to help. You know what? If somebody says, hey, can I pick your brain? That's not some sort of a horrible thing for free consulting. So many people are like, oh, they asked me to pick my brain. That's the biggest compliment that somebody can give you. So if somebody says, hey, can I pick your brain? Say yes. Now, there are some people out there who are too busy. I mean, legitimately famous people, their phone is ringing all the time. But there's a lot of advice on YouTube, I see this all the time, of people giving advice saying, say no, don't help people, don't. Until you're too busy, say yes. I talked to someone a while back and she said that she hates it when people call her and ask her for free advice. It drives her crazy, even though a lot of people helped her on the way up. And I said, wow, you're getting a lot of calls. How many are you getting? She goes, like 1 or 2 people a month. For gosh sakes, if 1 or 2 people a month are reaching out to you asking for advice, I don't care who you are, you can take 15 minutes per person and help them along the way. Because here's the thing, if we don't help other people, who are we? Do you want to be that person who's like, no, all my knowledge is mine? Or do you want to be the person who serves and grows? And as I said before, here's the biggest secret. When you mentor other people, you learn more than you ever thought you could. So personal growth through mentorship helps the mentee and it helps the mentor. My name is Thom Singer. You can find me at thomsinger.com. That's THOMSINGER.com. And I would love to hear from you.